Hi, welcome. In this tutorial we will talk about multiples, common multiples and lowest common multiples. Now let's start off with an example. So when we talk about multiples, and if somebody says show me multiples of the following number, say for example if it's 2, 3 and let's say 5, then we can say multiples of 2 are or you can just say multiples of 2 and then you can show it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 and so on. And then you can go to the next stage. So you've done 2, then you can say multiples of 3. Which are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 and so on. And finally you can say multiples of 5, which are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 and so on. Now that's how we show the multiples. Now what if somebody came and asked you, so what are the common multiples of 2, 3 and 5? Okay, now to show that, what we need to do is we need to refer back to the multiples that we just looked at and the multiples that we have found, and we need to show what numbers are common in all of these three numbers, 2, 3 and 5. What multiples or what numbers are common for these three numbers? So if we start looking at this, we see that we know that we have for 2 we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on, and for 3 we have separate different numbers, and so is for 5, but we need to look for common numbers. Now let's have a look. So what do we have here? We know 2 is not common for any of these numbers, neither is 4. 6 is common between 3 and 2 but doesn't exist for 5. So then, because the next number for 5 is 10, which is more than 6, right? So we need to find out numbers that are common between all of these. So how about 8? Well, we know that 8 only goes for 2 and not for 3 or 5. 10, what about 10? 10 is common between 2 and 5 but not for 3, it's missing. 10 is between 9 and 12. So this is the common process of finding the common numbers of three different of the common multiples of three different numbers. The numbers in this case are 2, 3 and 5, and we are finding the common multiples, and that's the way how we normally do it. We go through the list and we see which ones are common. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to simply go to the number that is common between all three numbers, the common multiple of all three numbers. and the number is in fact 30. Now, although you don't see it for 3, if we can write more numbers after 24, let's see if we can write it here. So what we are going to do, we are going to move some of these numbers. Okay, we seem to be having some problem moving them down, but that's okay. So what we'll do is we will write down further numbers of 2, 3 and 5 just to show that 30 is common multiple. So if we can extend the 2's, we have 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28 and 30, and then 32, of course, 34 and so on. 3, if we bring 3 here, then we know that after 24 we have 27, and then 30, 33, 36 and so on. And for 5, if we can bring, well, we don't have to do it for 5 because we can already see that 30 right there. So we know now that the number 30 is common between 2, 3 and 5. So our answer would be the common multiples of 2, 3 and 5 are, what are these numbers? So we can just say it's 30. But here's my other question. So if 30 is a common, would 60 be also a common number between 2, 3 and 5? And the answer is yes. 30 times 2 is 60, or 3 times 20 is 60, or 5 times 12 is 60. So that's also common between all 3 numbers, and we are going to quickly show it here. So 60, so if we do 2 times 30, that's a multiple of 2. 3 times 20, that also gives us 60, so it's also a multiple of 3. And 5 times 12 also gives 60, which means it's also a multiple of 5. So 60 is also a common number between 2, 3 and 5. Now it seems that any multiple of 3 could be a common number between 2, 3 and 5. How about 90? Now 90, before we, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a bracket here just to show that all of these numbers were for 60. And for 90, if we look at 90, so 2 times 45 would give us 90, 3 times 30 would give us 90, and 5 times 18, exactly, 5 times 18 would also give us 90. I was just checking the calculation. So it also seems that 90 is a common multiple of 2, 3 and 5 as well. Okay, so we have found the common multiples of 2, 3 and 5. Now finally we will have just one more extension, and that is what is the lowest common multiple, or LCM as it's commonly known, of 2, 3, and 5. And we've already done this when we were doing the common multiples, and in this case we see that the common multiples of 2, 3, and 5 were multiples of 30. So 30, 60, 90, and perhaps 120, perhaps 150 as well. But which one is the lowest? 30 is the lowest, and that's why 30 is our answer to this question. Anyway, this was a long tutorial. I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you in the next one.